Namaste everybody, welcome to my channel. My name's Candace. Thank you for joining me today. If you're new, please don't forget to subscribe. And if you're already subscribed, then thank you for coming back. And I also want to give a huge thanks to those of you who've been donating recently. I really appreciate it. Even just $1 really makes a huge difference to helping this become more of a financial benefit to our family and for me to continue doing this for you guys. So that really means so much. Thank you. Today we're going to do a feel-good mood boosting yoga. So this is just going to help you feel really good in your body. It's for everybody, so feel free to join in no matter what level you're at. If you're more beginner, have a yoga block handy or a really firm cushion or something like that to help you in some of the hip opening poses. So there's going to be a fair few hip openers just to help release any emotional stress and things like that from the body. And it also just feels so good and it helps to boost your mood. So we're going to begin in a reclined position. So come down onto your back. Start off by hugging your knees up towards your armpits. If there's any gas that you want to release, don't worry, feel free to let it come out, especially if you're just at home alone. Just release any of that tension from the belly and the body. And then maybe find a little rocking motion from side to side here, while you squeeze those knees towards your armpits. Try to draw your tailbone to the ground so you're not letting your bum lift up too much. Some of you may be up here and not able to draw your knees close, and that's okay. Be where your body is, modify, and just do what you're able to do with yourself. So just massaging the lower spine for a moment here. Keep your breath deep. Now take the feet down to the ground, keep the knees lifted to the sky, and then allow the legs to fall open. So the soles of the feet are touching and your knees are just falling open like in a reclined butterfly. Just slowly warming up and opening up through those hips. Make sure your shoulder blades are tucked under you nicely, relaxing your shoulders away from your ears. Keep your breath deep. Become aware of the belly as it rises and falls. Now draw your knees together. Hug your knees up towards your armpits again, but this time take a grip of the outside edges of your feet, or perhaps just grab onto the shins for your happy baby pose. Now draw your knees down towards the ground as far as you can. This can be quite intense, especially if you have tight hips. But that's okay, be where you are and just feel through the body. It's all right if you just need to grip the shins if you can't reach the feet. The important thing is to try and keep your tailbone down towards the ground. Don't allow your tailbone to lift up to the sky. And if it feels nice, maybe find that rock again from side to side. Drawing the knee down to the ground as you pull from left to right. Hug your belly button back. Keep your breath deep through your nose. Slow and deep. This can feel so good that you might not even want to stop. So let's go a little longer. Perhaps this should be our whole class. Just rocking and baby and happy baby. Now I see why babies love this. It does feel good. I hope it feels good for you too. If it doesn't, with time it will, as your hips open up for you. Become still, and if you're a little more advanced or intermediate, you can play around with straightening one side. This won't be great for beginners, so beginners, just stay in happy baby. And then maybe straighten the other side, giving your hamstrings a really nice stretch. And then back to happy baby. Just bring your knees together, release your hands. We're going to play around like we're a child and just start to rock ourselves. So take a grip behind your knees, lift your bum off the ground and your legs over your head a little, and rock yourself into a seat. And just keep this rocking motion going. You may remember doing this when you were a child, being a little playful. By hugging your belly button back, you may find you're able to actually sit in a boat pose for a second and then rock back again. This may feel really good on your spine. Just massaging out those muscles. And as I say, just being a little free and fun with this. Not taking life too seriously. Continue rocking just a few more times here. And then if it's possible for you, then come into this seated boat with your hands behind your knees. So just take the beginner variation. Hug your core back, just firing it up a little bit. You can slightly spread your knees and start to rotate your feet. So do some nice rotations with the ankles in one direction and then in the other. If you're a little more advanced, let go of your knees and just take your hands alongside your body, maybe even straighten the legs. And now everybody, bring your soles of your feet together, draw them towards your sit bones, and we're going to come into into a butterfly pose. So let your knees fall open. Some of you may have to place your hands behind you. Your knees may be quite lifted. That's all right. Just be where you are. If you're more flexible, you may find you're able to actually start to lean forwards over your legs. You can use your block in front of you if you would like to rest your head onto it if you're able to come forward. If you're not able to come forward, stay seated and just breathe deep. Remember to engage that core, hug your belly button back. Take this moment here to be totally mindful. And that's almost the opposite word of what we're doing. We don't want our mind to be full. We want our mind to be clear and empty. So become aware of your thoughts, but don't pay them attention. Allow them to pass. There may be some discomfort, especially if your hips are tight. Your body, your mind may be screaming at you to come out of the pose, and if it's painful, then please do. But if it's not painful, but it's a level of discomfort which is feeling beneficial, then let those thoughts pass and just sit with the pose for a few more breaths. Okay, release your block aside if you were using it and squeeze your knees together. Come back. Lift your feet off the ground and hold that for a minute. And then come back into your boat pose, hands behind your knees. Finding a bit of strength through your core. You can let go if you're more intermediate, maybe even straighten the legs. Point your toes. And find that rock once again, so rock back. And slowly rock back forwards. Play around with it, don't worry if you never catch this boat pose. You may be able to in a minute. One more time. And spread your feet wider than the mat. Use your hands to press your hips forwards. We're coming into our Malasana yogi squat. So if you're more of a beginner, if you're intermediate, just come straight into your yogi squat. If you're more of a beginner, I'm going to face you just to show you. Feet are more than hip distance apart. Squat down like a frog. Toes point outwards, heels inwards. Just let your hips completely sink. And you can take your elbows to press your knees apart. Keep your spine nice and long. Just sit here. If this is impossible, then use your block. Place it underneath your hips. Maybe your heels can't touch the ground either, and perhaps your heels are lifted. And just sit like this. So you're in the pose, but you have your hips raised. This may be more accessible for your body. So wherever you are, everybody, taking 3 more breaths here. Now plant your hands. Let's step our right leg back. Keep your left leg where it is. So we're in a runner's lunge. We're in like a runner's lunge slash, my words are gone today, sorry guys, lizard pose. So we've still got a hip opener here on the left. And we've extended the right. Lock the knee so that your right leg is nice and long out behind you. Try to sink low. Keep it lifted for a couple of breaths. And then slowly drop that right knee to the ground and allow your left knee to fall open, to fall out towards the left side of the room. You can take your left hand to the left knee and perhaps just push it a little further away from you so that you're getting a little deeper into that hip. This is hitting 2 birds. Oh my gosh, my words. This is hitting 2 birds with 1 stone because we're opening the left hip and we're getting deep into the psoas muscle of the right side. So this is a real feel-good pose. Releasing all that tension from the lower body. If you would like to, you can come down to your forearms. Now this is more intermediate, so beginners, be where you are. You can always place your hands up onto your block if you need to, if you can't get so low. From here, come back up. Bring that foot back into a nice firm placement and step your right leg to the outside edge of your right hand. We're going to fold forward, so this time take the heels out and the toes slightly inwards and just fold. Hang heavy like a rag doll. Hold on to each elbow and feel that lovely pull between the shoulder blades. You can bend your knees as much as you need to. Now for an extra stretch, you can start to turn onto the knife edge of the feet, and that's going to stretch the outside edges of your legs, which is actually quite a hard area to get to. So you may feel a bit of a pull down that tendon and through those side leg muscles down here. If you would like to interlace your fingers, allow your hands to fall up and over your head for a shoulder stretch, opening up through the chest. You can rotate the palms so your palms face away from you. That's going to make it even more intense. Okay, inhale, look forward, half lift. Bring your spine parallel to the ground. Take your arms out the side of your body and hold that for a couple of breaths. So hug your core back. Now plant your hands or your fingertips. Just slightly bring your right feet in line with your mat and step your left foot back. So we're in our runner's lunge slash lizard pose now on the opposite side. You can find a little rocking motion forwards and back, and this can really help stretch out the calf of the left leg, because as you push that heel backwards, you're going to get that lovely calf stretch. So let's stay lifted for a couple of breaths. You can find movement or you can be still. Now slowly bring that back knee to the ground. Rest the knee down and then allow your right leg to open out to the side. And then maybe take your right hand to press that knee a little open. Sink the hips down. You may find this side is a little more tight than perhaps the other side was. For me it is, but everyone's different. So you may not be able to get down to your elbows on this side if you were able to on the other side, or it could be the other way around for you. So just listen to your body, don't force it. Beginners are always welcome to literally just stay up on your block. We'll see where your body takes you from here. If you have the capability to come down to your forearms, then feel free to do that. Don't force anything. Stay within your boundaries. Much better to stay within your boundaries than to injure yourself. Okay, plant your hands now, shoulder distance. Come up off the back knee, so you're back in your runner's lunge, and step this right foot back to meet the left. So you're in a plank, hold your plank for a breath. And then send it up and back to a downward facing dog. Hug your belly button back. Probably become one of my favorite poses is down dog. If you're a beginner, you may think I'm crazy. I remember in the beginning thinking this is a really hard pose, but with time this will become your resting place. So just breathe deep and remember to hug your belly button back to your spine. So slight internal rotation of the feet, and you want to make sure your feet are hip distance. And you want to externally rotate your shoulder blades. So you're almost pulling your shoulder blades apart. from here, walk your hands back to your feet for a forward fold. So hang heavy and ragdoll to start with. Feet are still hip distance, bend them as much as you need to your knees. And just like before, you can interlace your fingertips behind your spine, but perhaps try and put the opposite thumb on top. It will be your less comfortable way of holding your hands together. You can squeeze the palms close together, you can allow them to fall open, and you can also rotate them so your palms face away from you. Play around with placement of the palms. It will feel deeper depending on how you're holding your hands. Okay, inhale, half lift, look up. Exhale, fold. 2 more, just like that. Inhale, half lift. And fold. 1 more. And fold. Walk your hands forward to your downward facing dog. We're going to find some spinal wave, so bend your knees and arch your spine into a wave to your plank. From your plank, sink your hips. Look forwards. This is your upward facing dog. And then hug your belly button back and send it back to downward facing dog. So we're going to do that a few times, just releasing the spine. So bend the knees, exhale, roll forward. Hold your plank just for a second. Drop your hips, look straight ahead. For your upward facing dog, keep your thighs off the ground. Exhale, back, down dog. Inhale, roll forward. Exhale, sorry. Hold in your plank. And then drop. Inhale, look straight ahead. Opening the chest and the spine. Exhale, up. Downward facing dog. Let's try that one more time, waving forwards. Hold your plank. Drop your hips, look forward, inhale. Exhale, up. Downward facing dog. Start to walk your dog very slowly forwards. And we're going to come down into a seat. Take a nice comfortable seat of your choice now. We're going to start to wind the practice down. So take your hands in front of you, rotate the fingers towards your feet, thumbs outside edge of your palms. And let's take some wrist stretches. So place your palms as firmly down to the ground as you can. And maybe try to find a little motion, rocking side to side, only if that feels good. Stretching out the palms, but also up through the forearms, on the underside of the forearm. Spread your fingers wide and just make sure there's no pain. If there is, slightly lift up and just hold back a little. Okay, slowly release the hands up, give them a little rotation. We're going to take the opposite hand, the opposite side of the hands down to the ground. So this top side. So the thumbs will be on the inside edges of the hands now, and start to draw your palms down again. This bit, don't put much pressure at all, because there's a lot of little tendons through the hands and we don't want to pull any of them. There'll be a lot of pain if you did. So just make sure it's just a very gentle stretch, that you're not creating any pain within your body there. Maybe it feels good to rock, maybe it feels good to be still. And then slowly release. Give your hands a little shake out. And then change the placement of your feet. So whatever foot was on top or in front, just change it around. And we're going to extend our hands out to the sides. Lock your elbows and bring your fingertips to the ground. Draw your shoulder blades down and just start to roll your head from side to side, and this locking of the elbows and the extension of the hands just really adds that extra bit of tension, so that you can get a little deeper into all of those muscles through the neck, and you may even feel the stretch all the way down to the fingertips. Finding a couple more rolls here, just take 2 more. And then back to center, release your hands. That may already feel a lot looser, but we're going to do eagle arms to get to the back of our shoulder blades, which is also, again, really hard place to reach quite often. So wrap your left arm on top of your right arm, either once. If you can only get your palms, the backs of your palms to touch each other, that's fine, or twice and get your palms to reach each other, perhaps even finding a grip of maybe the right thumb or something like that. So be where you are with that. Stretch your arms forwards and lift your elbows up, but draw your shoulder blades down away from your ears. Breathe with the stretch. And then draw your elbows down as well. So elbows and shoulders are being drawn down, getting deep into the back of the shoulders there. It may feel good to just drop your head from shoulder to shoulder while you do the stretch. And then release the hands, give them a shake, and we're going to do the same, but take the right arm on top this time, right on top of left. Wrap either once or twice, depending on your flexibility. Start off by drawing the shoulders down and lifting the elbows up to the sky. And I'll drop the elbows down as well. If you have a big bust, this might actually be quite tough. You might have to keep your elbows lifted. I have a fairly small bust, so I can actually draw my elbows down. But just do what's possible for your body structure, and for what feels good as well. One more breath here. Now release your hands. Give your shoulders a little roll. Let's swap our feet one more time. We're going to just take a little moment of silence together. So during our moment of silence, which is a little meditation, I really encourage you guys to sit still, try not to miss it, and also to allow your thoughts to come and go without judgment. So just let them be and just accept that they're there, and then come back to the breath once you've noticed a thought. So take the tops of your palms to your knees. Sit in any position that works for you. You can also lie down in Shavasana. if you would prefer to do so. But try to stay awake and aware of your mind and what's going on with it. All right, everybody, you can sit here and meditate for as long as you like. Or let's end the practice together if you're ready. With the eyes still closed, start to deepen your breath. Keeping them closed, wiggle your fingertips. And then release your hands up and start to rotate your wrists in one direction and then in the other. And then inhale, reach your hands to the sky, touch your palms, taking a stretch. Exhale down, eyes are still closed. Draw your hands to heart center in prayer. I encourage you to take a moment here while you're seated with your eyes closed to maybe repeat a word to yourself, whatever word comes to your mind, or a mantra, something that you would like an intention that you would like to take with you off of the mat and throughout the day with you. Whatever that word or sentence is, just say it to yourself now in silence. If you've struggled to find an intention, try this one with me. Go slowly. So perhaps all that means is just take today slow as it comes. Rush nothing. Allow everything to be. And notice through slowness, doesn't have to be physical slowness, but certainly mental slowness, just how less stressed you feel during all situations. And then you can bow your head, namaste, open your eyes. Thank you for joining me today, guys. I hope this feel good movement today has made you feel good. I really hope it has, and released your body of some stress and perhaps emotion. Maybe you've done a lot of travel. This will be a really great flow for that, actually. And also it's a decent flow for morning or evening because it's so gentle. So feel free to do this any time of the day. I I actually do have a Udemy channel now. I'm going to share the link in the description below, and I encourage you guys to please share that, because I've got a prenatal class on there which people can buy, and it's just going to see mums through each trimester that they're in. First, second and third trimester it's suitable for, and I would love it if you could share that with anybody you may know that's pregnant. I will be bringing more courses to Udemy eventually. It's very tough for me to find the time to film courses at the moment with my toddler. I am a full-time mum, but I will get round to it. It is an intention I have in my head, and I promise I'll be bringing more your way. So I will keep you posted. And again, thank you for the donations you guys give me. Thank you for joining me. I do get quite a few regulars that come to the channel, and I really appreciate you, as well as anybody who's just found out about me. I really hope you enjoyed this, and I never plan classes before we begin, guys. I always am spontaneous with yoga. I've always done that. I'm not somebody who does very well with pre-planning and then trying to make it work. I get muddled and end up forgetting what I'm supposed to do. So I find it more relaxing, and I hope that comes across through my videos, that it's quite spontaneous and it's just coming from an organic place. And so I would love you guys to practice that. In fact, I sometimes in my videos say to you guys to turn the flow into your own. That may sound like a strange thing, like what do you mean? But it's a great way to start practicing, even if you're a beginner. So if I go into a pose and you think, I really don't feel like doing that pose, or my body is not feeling good in this pose today, you can turn that pose into something you want to do. It can be anything. It can be totally opposite to what I'm doing, and that's okay. Take the time to listen to your body and to be creative, because there's no rights and wrongs in yoga. The only wrongs, of course, is if you're not listening to your body and you hurt yourself. But other than that, just listen to your body and go with the flow. Be creative and think outside the box. Don't worry about following my guidance to the T. If you want to do that, there's nothing wrong with it. But it's a really great way to start getting you creative, and perhaps one day you'll be flowing through your own organic body movement without even being guided. Or maybe you always like to be guided, but you like to be guided, and through that guidance to turn it into your own as I talk. So maybe that's helpful for you, and that's great for some people. So we're all so different and unique. Let's embrace that and continue to enjoy your yoga. Thank you for practicing. Thank you for being consistent. Namaste.